Alright guys, we're over here at Your Fitness 365, getting ready for our powerlifting meet on November 9th. So we're going to go over our questions on the deadlift today. We have a few, I think 3. Just covering sumo and I think a little bit of conventional. So we'll go ahead and start.
Isaac was asking about explaining the setup for sumo, proper form and setup for the sumo deadlift.
Okay, so the sumo and conventional are both quite different in setup and form, and so each of them is set up differently for different body types. So the sumo sets up a little bit better for the longer leg, shorter torso body type. So Sammy's going to demonstrate here how to get in and set up for the sumo. So we'll go ahead and face front first. Okay, so first what he's going to do is he's going to make sure he has the same foot width. So his legs and his shins are going to be the same distance from the middle of the bar. He's going to use either the rough part of the bar or the rings of the bar to measure his leg position. So he is going with his shins about even with the rings on the bar. So when he squats down, or when he gets down into the position, he's going to want his knees fairly well stacked right on top of his ankles. So we're going to go down and check that position first. So it looks pretty good. He's got a wide stance. His knees are pretty well stacked on top of his ankle. Come on up. Okay, so the purpose of the sumo first is to shorten the distance. This is why it's better for a longer leg, shorter torso person. Shortening the distance the bar has to travel, giving the person advantage over the bar. We're trying to create more leverage in your hips against the bar. All right, so let's go ahead and turn the bar so we can work on our position of the hip height. He's going to reset back to where his legs are in the same position. Okay, so he's going to start by pushing his hips back as he also leans and hip hinges at the waist. So come back up real quick. So the idea is you want to try to keep your hips as high as possible without being in a completely straight leg position, which would be like an RDL type position. In that form, you use too much of your back. So you still want to bend the knees, but you want to keep the hips as tight as possible. So that's where you're going to create some or lean forward at the waist to put your chest slightly down. So start sitting back, but also lean forward as you hinge at the waist. Okay, so now his hips are a little bit higher. All he's going to do now is stand up by leading with his head and his chest. That keeps him from shooting his hips up. Okay, so in the sumo deadlift, your legs will lock out sooner than your back. So that requires you to have more adequate back strength than in the conventional deadlift, because that last little bit you're going to require a lockout. Go ahead and back up. You're going to require more of a lockout from here to there with your back. So let's go ahead and do it again. Just push back as he hinges forward at the waist. He's going to stand straight up, leaving head and chest, and that last little bit locks out with the back. There, I'm going to have him hinge a little bit more forward at the waist. Get it a little to squat position. There we go. And head and chest lead. There we go. Perfect. In that way, you hinge your hips against the bar. Just remember that your back will lock out the rest of it. All right, we're going to the second question.
Second question is the difference between the conventional deadlift and the RDL as far as what muscles are being worked for each of those lifts.
Okay, so the conventional deadlift, either deadlift is made to lift heavy weight. You're trying to use a compound exercise to build as much general strength, general max strength as you possibly can. Now the RDL is more of an assistant assistant exerise to either the sumo or the deadlift. Is to train or strengthen the lockout in the deadlift. All right, so we're not going to touch too much on the conventional form. We're going to do more of the RDL form. So we're going to go ahead and get into a conventional RDL stance. Let's go ahead and start from the top. Don't do it from the side. So the RDL starts at the top position. Okay, so the RDL is for your hamstrings and your glutes. To train, like I said, to train and strengthen the lockout of the deadlift. So really got to make sure that you push your hips back, keeping your back very straight and arched. Push back. This puts a great stretch onto your hamstrings. Try to keep the legs a little straighter. There you go. Stand straight back up through the hips. What you don't want to do is force your hips forward too early. So if he were to go down in good position, now he really pushes his hips forward. Go down. Really force your hips forward early. So if you force your hips too early forward, then you're not going to keep that stress on the hamstrings and the glutes. And that's what trains your lockout. So you want to really force yourself through your heels as you stand up. That'll keep the stress there. Okay, so go ahead and push back. Stand up through the heels, keep your hips back. There you go. So you stay back as long as possible. Push the hips forward at the end. You push your hips back as far as they can go. Stand back up. The farther you push back, the more straight you'll keep your back, and also look straight ahead forward without putting your eyes to the ground. Putting your eyes to the ground will help you round over, which we want to stay out of that position at all times when we're lifting something heavy. I believe, yeah, so the RDL, hamstrings and glutes, trains the lockout of the deadlift, versus the conventional deadlift or the sumo deadlift is a compound movement to train maximal strength. We'll go to the third question.
All right, last question, guys. We got from Mark, and there are a few other questions that a few people had that we're gonna touch up on this question, so we can kind of throw in multiple questions as we answer it through. But how can I start deadlifting without hurting my back? What's the proper setup for a beginner, but also grip setup for a beginner? Alternate grip, over grip. We'll go over a few of those right now for you.
Okay, so how to deadlift without hurting your back. Keep your back straight and arched so there's no round. We'll go over that here real quick. We'll go over a correct arched back position and then an incorrect rounded back position. We'll use it from the conventional position, conventional deadlift. So first we'll go down correctly. We're going to push his hips back. His back is very straight and arched right here. That's the position your back is meant to be in lifting something heavy, whether it's a deadlift or even a squat. Your back is made to absorb shock that way. And then he'll just stand up, keeping his back straight the entire time. Very good. So now we'll start from the top again. So now we'll go down to a rounded back position. This round here puts stress on your spine, and even more stress as you try to lift something up. So your back is not meant to go into this position, and especially when you go in this position when you're something heavy. Each vertebrae is feeling stress more as you go down. So with a light weight, it doesn't feel it as much, but if you were to pile some weight on there, easily throw it back. Technically, you can throw it back in that position, picking up something as light as a pencil. So, straight back at all times, straight and flat. Now the proper grip, we'll go ahead and flip it around for straight ahead position here. Now to train the strength of the grip, I recommend going the double overhand grip until you get to a weight that grip is going to be a limiting factor. The grip in general should be the limiting factor in your hip, but your hips should be a lot stronger than your grip. So to strengthen the grip, go double overhand. Eventually you're going to hit a point where you need to go cross hand grip. One side will be stronger than the other, depending on if you're right or left-handed. But I still recommend alternating alternate grips each rep until you needed to lift something that's a max weight. Then you would go with your strongest grip, whether it's right hand over, left hand under, or the other way. But that, if you go with the same grip all the time, your shoulder blades will actually rotate in that direction. That can lead to some problems in your spine. So I recommend rotating the over-underhand grip when you get to that point until you reach the max weight. So he'll demonstrate real quick. Double overhand first. Obviously weaker grip. So that is a weaker grip, but train the strength of your grip by using that until you can't do it anymore. Then the cross hand grip, one will be over, one will be under. This is just a more secure grip for when the weight gets heavier. Like I said, just rotate the grips until you hit that max weight when you need the strongest grip you possibly have. One will feel more natural to you, that's your strongest grip. And then how to train to lift heavy. I believe in, for deadlifting, I believe in the more sets, a little bit less weight if you want to, or sorry, more sets, more weight if you want to build strength. So I keep it in 3 to 5 rep ranges with 3 to 5, maybe 6 sets, working at sub-maximal weight to build up the strength, and then I'll realize the strength by lifting max weight every few weeks, every several weeks, 3 to maybe 5 weeks. If you stick in that higher rep range in the 8, 10, 12 rep range, you might use that for some hypertrophy, but it's not going to build as much strength as really putting on the weight with correct form, of course, and using those lower reps, more sets, building strength through volume at higher intensities, and then really hit that max weight to test yourself and realize what you put yourself through in that volume building stage. I hope that answered everybody's question. I think we're about out of time here. November 9th, powerlifting meet. Come check it out or participate if you want to. It's going to be a lot of fun. And come ask us any questions if we need to clear anything up. Have a great day.